Brother, I think physical video games are very soon going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah, they're disappearing like hotcakes on store shelves. It's freaking sad. It sucks.
Yeah, so we got to talk about this, see if you guys are seeing the same thing. And I think, the Wii U eShop closes today.
Yes.
If you're seeing this video after March 27th, then it's already closed. But I think that speaks to the point of why physical media is so important. Digital games being gone forever, that we paid our hard-earned money for, just so that we can rebuy them again on other consoles. So here's where we're going with this. I got to ask a question. Let us know in the comment section below. Have you been into a store lately? Not a video game store. If you've been into a Best Buy, a Walmart, or a Target, and if you went into their video game sections, because I gotta know if you're seeing what we're seeing. We are seeing these sections completely wiped. It makes no sense because the most valuable thing in the retail space is shelf space.
Yeah, dude, it is wild. I started noticing this probably around the holidays, and I was like, oh, it's just a supply issue, it's the holidays, people are buying games. So I didn't really think anything of it, because I was walking through the aisles and being like, why is it so empty? But it's freaking the end of March,
yeah,
and the aisles are still empty, if not more empty. It's just so weird. Like, if you go to like these stores, like going through Walmart, they have aisles of video games, and it's just like, how's it empty? I mean, obviously there's still some games, but some of them there's only one left, or like,
yeah,
there's end caps that are empty.
Yeah, and that's like your display piece. And we've got new consoles on the market, so this isn't like I'm saying the PS4 section is empty. That would maybe kind of make sense.
Maybe because they're pushing PS5 stuff, but no, the PS5 stuff has spots too, and it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know. So
and
it got us like thinking, man, like, what is going on with physical media? We started looking some stuff up, and
yeah,
we found some crazy facts that, like, I think in 2022, most of the sales for video games were digital.
Yeah, we've seen data anywhere between like 95% of video games sold were digital versus physical, all the way down to like 72% from 2022. So there's nothing concrete, which we've kind of known this was coming, right?
Yeah.
I think a game that really illustrates this is people have been having a hell of a time getting Metroid Prime Remaster on the Switch. You can't even freaking get it on Amazon. It feels like we're being forced to pull the pin digitally. But the data speaks to probably why we're seeing store shelves empty, because they're not having a supply chain issue with getting the digital download cards, because of those sections, they're plumb full.
I'm sure there probably is some supply issues, and that could be part of it. But I think the big part of it is they're trying to push digital games because it's cheaper for them to produce, obviously. They don't have to make plastic, they don't have to put inserts, which they don't even do anymore. Mm-hmm. That's a different thing. It's cheaper for them to produce, and they can charge you the same amount they would have for a physical game.
Yep.
And
that's always pissed me off.
And like, if you buy it digitally, then they're going to encourage you to buy it again on another console.
Yeah.
It's just, companies are getting smarter, and it's convenience for us, so then we're like, oh, instead of going out to the store, can't find the game, let me just buy it digitally so I can play it right now. It wins in their book, and it sucks for us.
So I guess the shock value for me, and I'm guessing you too, and probably you, the viewer, it's not that this is happening. I think anybody that wasn't living under a rock could say they've seen this coming. We've seen this happen with CDs.
Yes.
I feel like DVDs and Blu-rays still have a decent presence, but it's less.
It's less than it was, yeah, for sure.
And we've had consoles from the prior generation and this generation release digital-only versions of the console, so they can't even play a physical game. So I don't think this is blindsiding anybody as far as, with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and the Switch Online stuff. But I guess the shock and awe for me is just seeing with my own two eyeballs, it literally happening in front of my face of like, I didn't see a copy of the new WWE 2K23 game, and it just came out. And there's no way that... You guys know when those games traditionally would come out, the Maddens, those common games, your Call of Duties, loads of them.
Yeah, they would have a display and like all this stuff, and they don't.
Yeah, it's...
And our buddy Megadan was looking for the wrestling game.
Yeah.
And he went to a freaking GameStop, and they had posters up, and they were displaying the game, and they didn't have the game.
Yeah, it's...
What?
And
so they got the promo pieces for it, but they don't have the game.
And you already brought up the point, but... Guys, the footage we're going to show, this is from stores in the Midwest. We're in Des Moines, Iowa. Walmart, Target in particular, always just mecca places to go for video games. We went there on video game release nights. I remember we went there on the NES Classic.
And we got it at midnight.
The SNES Classic. I've bought Maddens there at midnight. But seeing it is like, okay, I knew this was coming, but now it's here. This is freaking real.
I knew it was happening because, subscription services, you brought up Game Pass, PlayStation Plus.
Yep.
It's really convenient to be able to stream your games, and I know that's awesome for like casual gamers or people that don't want to have all this or a whole room dedicated to it. But I didn't know it was happening this fast, and I didn't know it was like, it's like gonna be done soon.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the store shelves that I'm seeing, when a game does get sold out, they just leave it empty. That's like what I'm interpreting it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're probably getting a few new ones, but not as much. And it's just, as a physical media fan, it sucks.
Yeah, and even, you always used to be able to go to that little section, at Walmart that was like the discounted games. And I don't know if they were used or if they were just clearancing them out.
Old games.
But it was always full. Yeah. And a lot of it was shit you wouldn't want anyways.
But still.
Guys, you'll have to go back. We'll show the footage right now. But I think there were 3 freaking games in the section. And this huge open space. It's just bizarre to see. And I think that, gets me thinking of the impact of this. And I think it is going to create a culture in gaming, which this is what they really want. They being the video game companies. I hate when people say they and you don't know who they is. Like, well, they say it's gonna rain tomorrow. Well, who the hell is they? Well, the video game companies, they want this because we are in this vicious cycle of remasters, remakes, re-releases, and buying the games again and again and again on whatever new console you get. So you had something on PS4, then you get a PS5, and you buy it again in some form or fashion. Now, the impact, I think, is it's going to create this culture of in-the-moment gamers. I think about my childhood, which I was born in 86, you were born in 94, so we grew up a little bit with some different games and context. But, this generation of kids, the Fortnite kids, how are they going to relive that experience? Because once they upgrade the original map or whatever, I don't know enough about Fortnite.
I think they already have. But the old map's gone forever.
Yeah.
There's no way to go back and play like the nostalgic old map.
So to think about that, not being able to go back and play Dr. Mario or Super Mario Brothers or Contra or Punch-Out, and of course the great epic titles will be able to be re-released, but this gives ammunition. And we don't talk a lot about emulation on the channel.
No, we don't.
But we do in some instances, but mostly we're collectors, right? So we really focus on the physical side of stuff. But man, emulators, have at it. Go to town. When this is going to be the new way of things, if we don't have that community, there's going to be so many games lost forever. Before we filmed this, I was thinking, what if someday, when we're 55 years old, and let's say we had only digitally downloaded Mario Kart 8, and dude, we've had so many great times playing that game together with people in our streams, etc. Yeah. And we want to fire it up, and we only had it digitally, and your Switch doesn't work anymore, so we get a new Switch, and it's like, oh, do you remember your login? You're like, dude, I haven't logged into that for 20 years.
Yeah, I don't.
And not only that, if you happen to, because you're really good at keeping track of shit, not like, dude, I can't remember shit. Robert keeps notes on everything, but will the server even be up? Hence why the Wii U's sitting here.
Exactly.
Server's going down.
Are you even going to be able to play it if you don't have it physical?
Yeah.
So then it's like, man, get it physical. But then, this is like, we talked about this too right before we started filming, is like, they don't want you to get it physical, even though I want you to get it physical.
Yeah.
It's because, let's say Mario Kart 8, for example. You have a family plan, you have multiple Switches, you have multiple people on this account. You buy it physical, only one person can play it on their Switch at one time.
That pisses me off. That should, yeah.
Because if you buy it digitally, it's the same price, which is dumb, but then anybody can play it on any of their Switches if you're in that family plan. So then it's like, well, it encourages buying it digitally, because then, 4 people can play it instead of one person can play it.
Yeah.
But then you don't own it physically. It's just like, it sucks,
dude. And I think
its convenience is awesome. It's so nice because we have a few of those, and we have 2 Switches, so it's like, let's both play, but it's just frustrating.
I mean, I think about like stupid stuff, and I don't know that this really matters, but I gotta speak to it. I remember the morning I opened my NES. I remember the morning I opened my second NES. I remember opening my Super Nintendo in 1999, the Christmas of '99, and you're like, whoa, you didn't get Super? Yeah, I know, it was crazy. I wanted an N64, but I got a Super Nintendo, and guess what? I was happy as a freaking clam. I've told that story way back when Moby Dick was a minnow on the channel. But I had all these games: Mario Kart, Madden '98, or maybe no, it was '97. It was '97, not '99, because I got Madden '98. So it was Christmas of '97. Donkey Kong Country. And can you imagine that experience being, I opened a Super Nintendo, and then I opened a Nintendo eShop card? guys, there is something to be said for the memories and the tangible good. You know, and some of those games I still have the boxes and the manuals, and when I can go through them, I remember those moments. And I know
Like when you got them, yeah.
I know you look at us probably in this game room and you're like, well, you're freaking hoarders, okay?
Yeah.
I know this isn't normal, okay?
Yeah,
I'm aware.
We're definitely a niche thing.
Yeah.
But that's still something that you're losing.
Yeah.
And even if you're not a crazy collector, say you're a casual collector, you probably still remember getting a game for your birthday or for Christmas or something physically.
Dude.
And you were like, oh my God.
There have been games that like aren't even like, you know, that like, you know, like I remember there was like a Star Wars Battlefront game and just little conversations we have where you're like, man, I remember getting this Battlefront 2. My aunt worked at Family Video or something, and she gave
and
me
it had
this.
the freaking ring on it. Yeah, it's cool.
Robert doesn't want a CIB copy because that's the copy his freaking aunt gave him. If your memory was the digital download card,
but then you know, devil's advocate, you can buy whatever game you want. You know, you can buy multiple games.
True.
You can
Very
do
true.
all this stuff, but still, like that memory is more cemented because of that, dude. It kind of just applies to any gift over a gift card.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather get an actual gift even if you don't like it because it's still an object than a gift card. But still, like this is a wild thing. I knew it was happening, but I didn't know it was happening this much.
Yeah.
And just like I think the longevity and just the legacy of this era, the past era, maybe even Gen 7 era is going to be gone because like we can fire up our NES right now, pop in a game that's 40 years old, play it.
Yep.
There's going to be, with this physical going away, this generation of all these games are just going to be gone, and
I think
it's going to be so wild in 20 years. Just what are you going to do?
I mean, collecting is obviously for the newer stuff anyways. It's going to go away. So what's that do for the old physical stuff? Does that drive it up? I don't know that piece of it. But I think people are going to miss that stuff, you know, not only us, a lot of people we run into, they complain, you know, when manuals stopped being put in games. And so the collecting aspect, the secondary market, they're trying to squeeze that out because you know what? When I buy Contra off of you online for $40 on the NES, guess who doesn't get any money for that? Nintendo, Konami. I think they want that shit to go away. They want to be able to sell you a Contra HD collection with all the Contra games on it again and again and again with each generation that comes out. And so
people buy it even if they have the physical stuff.
Yeah.
And like so the companies are like, well, it's working.
Yeah.
So let's keep doing it.
Well, I think that's why we're getting so many remakes and remasters, and I'm not shitting on those because I do enjoy my fair share of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're regurgitating just old content over and over again. We're rebuying games, and honestly, are you even buying the game? That's the ultimate question. Or are you just renting it long-term at full price? It's curious to me why they're full price, because if you look at movies, and I've never rented a digital movie, I've never done that, but I'm pretty sure on like Amazon and like places like that you can rent a movie, and it's way cheaper than if you went to buy the Blu-ray.
Oh,
right?
dude, it's like $3.99, $4.99 to rent it for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
So you can watch as much as you want in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Then it's gone. But yeah, then you can go out and buy it physically for $20.
Yeah, so I know these are more long-term rentals, but I think you got to look at them like this, and man, then it gets tougher and tougher, at least for me, because I won't play a game if I don't think it's going to move me long-term, right? And, you know, I'm not going to play Zelda Breath of the Wild every year, Red Dead Redemption 2 every year. No, I'm not. But there will be some point where I want to go back and I want to go through it again because of the memories I have, the people I knew when I was playing it. It just brings that stuff back. And I sometimes feel like we're starting to sound like get off my lawn guys, but I think there's something here. I really do.
There definitely is something here, and just the fact that like you can go through. You gotta let us know if this is happening in other areas.
Yeah.
But in our area, it's definitely scary. I think we're a very niche market because we're old school and we like collecting, and obviously like today's gamer and everybody loves this.
Yeah.
Like, people are loving it. People are freaking streaming games with the PlayStation Premium, and they're like, oh, I can play all these old games, and it's so people obviously love it. And man, I just don't think they understand what's happening.
No, and but you know, then I think we are a niche market, but I think we're a strong market in the sense that when we go to video game conventions and stuff, they're packed out. There's a lot of people that like this stuff, and you know, I was at work. about a week ago, and everybody was asking me if I have the new Call of Duty, like if I would get online and play with them. And if I had it, of course I would. If they are playing, what's the Warzone, I'll jump in and play, and I can still
fun.
get around and hold my own because I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty was a thing, but it's still a thing. But what I'm getting at is the Call of Duty I'm playing most right now is with this dude, co-op, and it's Black Ops 1 on the PS3.
Zombies, baby.
Who's doing that? But we can do that because we still have the freaking disc.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the comment section below, I think we've made our point.
Yeah, we could just keep beating this dead horse.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It's sad. I didn't realize it was happening this fast. It's just like, there's nothing really that we can do.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Grab the games that you can.
And bend over and grab around your ankles and say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?"
Oh, one thing that I do want to bring up real quick before we leave. So obviously the physical games are hard to find, but you can still buy them online.
Yeah.
But if you buy them online, they still don't show up the day the games come out.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well, I pre-ordered it on Amazon. It's not here yet.
So now I'm penalized.
So now I'm penalized for not buying it digitally.
Yep.
And then some people are like, well, I want to play it FOMO so they can talk about it with their coworkers. So then they buy it digitally. They bought it twice because it didn't come day one.
Yeah.
That's happening more and more every time we buy a game online. It doesn't come. So it's like, oh, I'm still waiting for USPS to get it. It's just like more ways they're encouraging you to just get it digitally. It's like subconscious they're doing it.
Piracy is illegal. And
pirates.
coming from a couple guys who are in the artist space and have created musical content, I cannot stand piracy when it comes to things that are available to you in legal ways. But when things aren't available to you anymore, and people trickle out games, big companies,
They.
It starts with a big N, which we love them, but holy cow, it can really get behind this secondary market getting games teed up for emulation. But in the comments below, what are you seeing on store shelves in your area? Is it just a Midwestern thing? Is it a supply chain thing? I don't think it's a supply chain thing.
I think that might be part of it, but I think it's
I think it's data driven.
Yeah, I think it is just like, well, they're making more money and they're saving money because it's digital.
Yep.
You don't have to spend any money to make a copy of a digital thing.
I think
you know what I mean. So they can make endless digital copies.
We're at this apex right now where Nintendo, Microsoft, and PlayStation are in contracts for a set amount of floor space, but it's not lucrative enough for them to fill said floor space. So we're going to be, for a little while here, until contract renewals and all that stuff. I don't know how all that works. I'm just saying what my perception of it is. Until that stuff happens, I think we're going to see a vast change in what the traditional video game aisle looks like in big box retail stores. And I actually was in a Best Buy not that long ago. Same thing.
Yeah.
Switch area, nothing. Ghosted. They had more plushies than video games.
Yeah, they have more e-cards and accessories.
Yeah.
Just because those sell than they do actual games, and games are what's important. Dude, it's frustrating.
I'm excited. Fire up the comment section. What are you seeing in your area? Are the physical games disappearing? Because in our area, it's a ghost town around here. We appreciate you tuning in, subscribing to the channel, and cheers. Keep physical alive as long as we can.
As long as we can.
But this is where we're going, and there's no going back, unfortunately. We'll see you next time right here on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.